Are you up for something that's bizarre yet actually real? Look at this. Several years ago, these trees popped up on the internet and caught the attention of many, with people reacting in both disgust and amusement. The trees are downright spooky, as if their health had been sucked right out of them. Take my advice when I say that you must never approach a tree like this. I promise you'd regret it. So what are these trees? Moreover, when, where, why, and how did this happen? Stick around as I uncover the mystery behind these ghostly trees. First things first, when and where were these trees spotted? See, the viral photos originated from Pakistan way back in 2010. The backstory here is important, so listen up. See all the water surrounding the trees? That was the result of massive flooding due to monsoon rains. It was so catastrophic, the UN called it the worst disaster in its history. Pakistan's Indus River became flooded in late July and August of 2010, affecting 20 million people, with a death toll of close to 2,000. With 5.4 million acres of crops destroyed, millions of people became malnourished. Moreover, the dirty floodwaters made people susceptible to waterborne diseases. About 1.6 million houses were destroyed, leaving 14 million Pakistanis homeless. Even bridges and roads were damaged, so rescue efforts by both the Pakistani government and international organizations became difficult. It was hard to provide aid to the survivors with rising water levels. The total economic damage was roughly $43 billion. Fast forward to October of 2010, and the water level of the Indus River finally retreated almost back to normal. On the other hand, low-lying areas still had floodwaters up until early 2011. But something wasn't right. As the deadly rain stopped, villagers in Sindh, Pakistan began seeing these ghostly trees. At first, it might have been just one odd tree, but then they spotted another, and many others. This wasn't an isolated case of a single ghostly tree, and it was clear the floods had something to do with it. Exactly what they are will be explained soon, so stick around because their formation is bizarrely interesting, and you'd run away from them as fast as you could if you knew. And you might be thinking, oh, I guess I have no reason to worry about ghostly trees since I don't live in Pakistan. But you'd be wrong. Sure, the trees there got the world's attention, but they've also appeared in other parts of the world. They aren't a unique event, and they could happen anywhere given the right conditions. Don't believe me? First, there's this forest near Sorek Creek in Jerusalem. Just like the trees in Pakistan, the foliage here looks very unusual. Are these trees dead? If so, what caused their demise? It's also interesting to note that some trees and plants are seemingly unaffected. More than 11,000 kilometers away at the woodlands of Lake Tawakoni State Park in Texas, US, the same phenomenon occurred, but the reception here has, surprisingly, been positive. With several acres of the area featuring these odd trees, at least 3,300 people visited the park over the Labor Day weekend in 2007. The entire park is 376 acres in size, so anyone curious enough to witness the spooky trees could do so from afar. The land down under is also prone to this happening. In 2012, the city of Wagga Wagga, Australia experienced a record amount of flood-causing rain, and just like the incident in Pakistan, ghostly trees and bushes began appearing. A field of green turned white. The same happened in 2016 as well, and Tasmania's town of Westbury suffered from severe flooding. So as you've seen, they aren't a once-in-a-lifetime phenomenon, but why should you veer away from them? Here's a closer look. Can you see the problem now? How about here? Zoom in a little bit, and zoom out back again. Yup, all these trees were invaded by thousands of spiders. In the case of the floods in Pakistan, millions upon millions of spiders appeared seemingly out of nowhere, attached to any and every tree they could find. Anyone with a fear of spiders would think their worst nightmares had come true. So spiders are the culprits behind these web-infested trees. But the mystery still lingers. Why and how did these spiderweb cocoon trees appear in Pakistan? Spiders primarily live and crawl on the ground, or even underground. But the threat of drowning due to the floods forced millions of them to reach higher ground. Since floodwaters persisted in many low-lying areas of Pakistan, spiders had no choice but to go into the trees and seek refuge together. Still, how did they survive and not get caught up in the torrential floods? Wouldn't they have been taken away by the murky, strong waters as heavy rainfall continued? Luckily for them, the answer lies in their evolution, which has allowed them to survive natural disasters. For one, spiders can sail on water. No, the spiders here didn't make any tiny web boats. Instead, they used their legs or abdomens as sails to traverse on water. This was discovered by a team of researchers who published their findings in the BMC Evolutionary Biology Open Journal. By analyzing how hundreds of spiders coming from at least 20 different species reacted to the winds while they're on the water, the researchers found 5 distinct water-related behaviors, 4 of which are relevant to keeping safe during a flood. It's important to note that spiders don't easily sink because of their water-repellent feet. And while they can simply walk on water, they have 3 other alternative forms of locomotion. First, the spiders can raise their legs to help them slide on the surface without causing any turbulence. Second, they could opt to use their abdomen instead of their legs for sailing. The third spider behavior, anchoring, requires them to release silk onto the water's surface, which eases the spider's speed. In fact, this third technique is what the spiders in Pakistan could have used to get up the trees. As they sailed the surface waters with their legs or abdomen, they could have also released silk on a tree branch or trunk. Apart from sailing, spiders also have another trick up their sleeve. While they don't have wings to fly away from floodwaters, they can appear to fly hundreds of kilometers through what scientists call ballooning. Yes, you heard that right. Though most spiders only travel this way for a few meters, spiders have been found up to 4 kilometers in the sky caught in jet streams, dispersing to places as far away as hundreds of kilometers from their launch site, so you'd better run if you find one of these spider-infested trees. Basically, after going to a high area such as a treetop, they raise their backside, waiting for the right conditions for takeoff. They then spin a triangular sail made of silk threads into the air, which catches the breeze, allowing them to fly. The vast majority of these reverse skydiving spiders will die during the journey, being eaten by predators or succumbing to harsh weather conditions. But only a few need to survive to set up shop in their new home. Mass ballooning events happen when spider populations want to spread or escape inhospitable areas, which includes flooded grounds. In fact, researchers who studied the sailing behaviors of spiders noted that spiders that were prepared for ballooning were also skilled at sailing. These 2 behaviors, according to them, are associated with each other. Even more interestingly, scientists didn't know until recently how spiders can also balloon even when there's no wind. Tiny spiders at just a couple of millimeters in length use ballooning with fair ease, thanks to their lightweight characteristics, and they aren't often noticed by humans due to their size. Researchers have only just come up with a theory for how large spiders, at 1 centimeter or longer in length, have been able to go airborne as well, especially with no breeze whatsoever. The answer lies with atmospheric electricity and electrostatic forces. Insects such as bumblebees and honeybees can detect electric fields, so perhaps spiders are also aware of them. Similar to how your hair stands on end when you rub a balloon on your jumper, spider silk can be lifted into the air by natural electrostatic forces in the atmosphere. These electric fields are present at all times around the world, but are most noticeable during thunderstorms when they're at their strongest. Researchers at the University of Bristol in the UK tested this for the first time in a controlled environment, and noticed that spiders could feel electrostatic forces in the air using the minute hairs on their legs. Once their sail had been deployed, they'd rise when the electric field was turned on, and fall when it was turned off. This proved they could fly just using these electrostatic forces, but in reality, they'd use a combination of both wind and electricity to balloon in their own natural environments. With sailing and ballooning skills, the spiders in Pakistan had a natural way to escape the floodwaters and take refuge in trees. And in a historical context, this could explain why spiders were one of the first animals to thrive in new habitats around the world. Spiders not only had mastery over land, but they could also travel on water and in the air. Interestingly enough, biologists remarked that the type of spiders which balloon with the help of electric fields are the types capable of weaving sheet webs. Sheet webs are exactly the type of huge spider webs that surround the trees and bushes in Pakistan, Jerusalem, Australia, and Texas over the years. So, how dangerous are these spiders? Well, most of the spiders caught in the ghostly trees are harmless to us humans, and although a few do have venom, like wolf spiders, they aren't fatal and will only lead to mild pain. Even so, I doubt you'd want to climb one of those trees. Turns out, it's the trees that should be worried. These spiderweb cocoon trees eventually die because the sunlight can't reach their leaves anymore. Second, The people in Sindh, Pakistan lost a natural source of shade, especially since it becomes very hot in the area during the summer. But it's not all bad. Usually, a flooded area would lead to stagnant water, which invites mosquitoes carrying malaria to breed. Yet somehow, the people living in Sindh saw fewer mosquitoes than expected. While one entomologist said that one factor is the shift in climate, many believe that the spiders and their nets helped as well. Kind of like what happens here when people allow spiders to do what they want. Basically, if you hate spiders more than mosquitoes, those ghostly trees aren't so bad after all. So while there are no paranormal factors to blame, I doubt those of you with arachnophobia aren't so happy to learn that spiders can fly and walk on water. In case you do spot one of these eerie spider-filled trees, tread carefully and hope that they don't get a sudden urge to fly straight on your head. How would you react if you encountered a forest of spiderweb cocoon trees? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below, and thanks for watching.